The Shang dynasty was the most isolated of the four civilizations and was the earliest Chinese dynasty that left written records. A key element of the Shang period was the knowledge of bronze metallurgy, which was brought to China from Southwest Asia by Indo-European migrations. This knowledge of metallurgy led to the refinement of tools and weapons. Irrigation and flood control projects were overseen by the central rule of the Chinese bureaucracy. Fortune-telling and ancestor worship began here. Examples of early Chinese writings are apparent from a custom divination using oracle bones. As writing systems were developed, social stratification became more apparent, with a class of ruling elites, artisans, peasants, and lastly, slaves. The Shang, like most other early civilizations, were patriarchal. Around 1122 BCE, the Zhou replaced the Shang. The Zhou believed in the mandate of heaven. If a leader governed wisely and fairly, he could claim right to divine rule. Societies in the Americas rose much later than the other river valley civilizations. Early Mesoamerican people, such as the Olmecs and the Mayans, constructed lavish pyramids and temples. The people were polytheistic, like many of the other earlier civilizations, and worshipped many gods of nature. The society was stratified with an elite class of rulers, priests, then the commoners and slaves. Early Mesoamericans cultivated maize. The societies of Mesoamerica also shared the legend of Quetzalcoatl, a god who would return to rule the world in peace. The Mayans developed a system of writing based on pictographs, understood the number 0 as a place value, studied astronomy, predicted eclipses, and calculated the length of the year within a few seconds of its actual length. The Mayan political organization consisted of small city-states ruled by kings who often fought against each other. Prisoners of war usually served as slaves or sacrifices to the many gods.
Classical civilizations. The Mediterranean. The gender structure. In the Mediterranean, women were generally treated like children or even as property. Sparta was the exception here, where women were usually valued. Social structure. In Sparta, the main hierarchy was the Spartans over the Helots, who were mainly their slaves. In Athens, there was a democracy, which was supposed to mean that all men were equal. Mediterranean technology. Among other things, they invented showers and pulleys. Widespread growth in most intellectual areas, namely developments in cosmology, cartography, the invention of the atomic theory of matter. They calculated the circumference of the Earth and the Earth's tilt, as well as the invention of the Pythagorean theorem. Greek philosophy is also a huge deal. Trading patterns of the Mediterranean. Sparta didn't trade all that much, as they were fully consumed by their military. However, Athens relied heavily on their numerous ports for trade, as they had to import their food. They produced and traded pottery, various metal goods, olive oil, and wine. China. Gender structure. Women were entirely subordinate to men here. This is evident through foot binding. Women were generally passed back and forth and always under the custody of a man, whether it be their father or their husband, or sometimes even their son. Social structure. Kings were of course ranked the highest, then nobles, then craftspeople, then merchants and farmers, as merchants were placed very, very low in the Confucian system, then slaves. Technology. During this time, the Chinese invented paper, gunpowder, the horse collar, the water wheel, silk, matches, the decimal system. They first used paper currency. They experimented with planting crops in rows, and they also invented fireworks, rudders for sailing, and compasses which greatly improved navigation. The Chinese were generally ahead when it came to technology. China wasn't heavily involved in global trade, as it wasn't all that important to them yet. This is reflected by the Confucian view of merchants as unnecessary to society. India. During this time, India alternated between spread empires, and a network of smaller kingdoms. Gender structure. The rights of women became increasingly limited as Indian civilization grew. Social structure. The caste system. This is generally shown with the mythological being, with the priests or Brahmins as the head, the warriors and lower rulers as the shoulders or the upper abdomen, and artisans and merchants below that as the stomach area, the abdomen, or even the thighs. This was followed by unskilled workers or laborers as the legs. And then the untouchables were another group that ranked so low they didn't even fit onto the mythological being chart. The untouchables were generally given frowned upon dirty jobs. Where you were placed in the caste system was heavily dependent on the color of your skin. The lighter your skin, the higher you would rank. Polytheism. The main feature of all polytheistic religions is multiple deities. Polytheism is evident within Greece, Mesopotamia, Sumeria, Egypt, and additionally within the Aztec and other Mesopotamian civilizations. There were also polytheistic religions scattered throughout northern Europe. Sometimes polytheism consists of nature gods or deities associated with various parts of life. Hinduism. Hinduism is one of the oldest religions in the world, as Vedic Hinduism may have begun as early as 6000 BCE. Most adherents to Hinduism currently live in India. Hindus believe in reincarnation and karma. They believe karma affects where you are in your next life, and if you're good, you may move up a level in the caste system, but if you're bad, you can also move down. Judaism. Judaism is a monotheistic religion that believes in Yahweh or God. One of the oldest organized religions. Judaism began around 4000 BCE in Israel. Now debate has arisen between Jews, Christians, and Muslims over who rightfully owns this area. Around 60 CE, Jewish revolts caused Romans to demolish Jerusalem. After the start of Christianity, Jews began to be persecuted by Christians as well. Over time, Jews spread throughout much of Europe as well as other places. Confucianism. Confucianism is a philosophy which emphasized government control. It was founded on the teachings of Confucius between 551 and 479 BCE. It also emphasizes loyalty, honesty, and the 5 relationships. The first of these relationships is a ruler to his people. The second is father to son. The third is husband to wife, and the fourth elder brother to younger brother. The last and fifth one is friend to friend, which was usually older friend to younger friend. Confucianism was mainly based on hierarchies, and it was very, very strict.